So, as most of you know, I finally got married, Baruch Hashem, and I had one of the most painful, comic, excruciating paths to getting married of anyone you'll ever hear. Um, so, so my wedding was like joyous, like you can't imagine. Partly because so many people came who had been limitless help on my really, really painful long journey. One matchmaker, one of the biggest matchmakers in Israel, Malka Heiken from Hebron. I haven't checked in with her in a long time, but she once said in she'd been doing matchmaking in Israel for 30 or 40 years or something. She's one of these like iron, tough New Yorkers who ended up living in Hebron. So she said in her 30 or 40 years of matchmaking, she had never seen someone put as much effort into trying to get married as me. You know, I had kind of like tried it all, done it all, dated everyone. So my wedding was like, you know, I think that was part. A lot of people remarked. They said like they had never been in a wedding like that. Something so special about it. We like apologies to everyone who didn't even know I was having it. Apologies to my family. It was so last minute. It's a whole long story. My friend put up an article on the Rob Berlin website going into it. I'm gonna tag it below here. It gives some more of the details. Shalom Ehud. Um, so the wedding was just like kind of some epic vibe going on. I had a friend who was a really sensitive type of guy, and he went and he said, "There's something very spiritual about that wedding." You know. So the day of my wedding, they say in Torah that when you do a proper wedding, you become reborn. Kind of like your sins are forgiven and you start over. And something happened that day that I want to talk about that was so remarkable. Um, I'm very sensitive. I do a lot of meditation. I go out to the woods alone a lot. Very sensitive. So that day in the afternoon, I was like getting close to the wedding. Rob Berlin called the huppah for 4, and it was pouring rain. It was cold, and everyone, including me, assumed that it wouldn't be at 4. But he was like, when he was ready to go right at 4. So anyhow, right before the huppah, I started to feel some kind of energy calm down, and it was some kind of like, for lack of better words, like a new soul thing coming down, And it was so powerful that I started to get nauseous. Like it's like in detoxification. If you're say you're fasting for like a week or something, and you have all this old junk in your system. Oh, Moshe Newman, what's up, man? Say you're fasting for a week and you have all this old junk in your system, and you do a deep fast, and say you're doing a lot of movement and breathing during the fast. All that old junk's going to come up, and you feel kind of nauseous. Maybe what's coming out. I felt that kind of feeling. Like I felt this new the afternoon right before the hope. I felt this new kind of energy coming down. It was so powerful. I felt like I was going to get sick, and I turned to my friend who was mashalmashing me before the wedding. It's the wretch of Chil Baal Moshe. Translate that if you can. So I felt this new energy coming down, and I said to my friend, "Oh God, this is so intense. I think I'm going to be sick." And he's like, "No, no, go to the mikvah before the hope, and you'll feel fine." I went to the mikvah right away. I felt fine. He's very kind of like prescient, psychic guy. So yeah, so I think it was because I had such a huge, painful shidduch journey. I went on like some record number of arranged dates before I got married with different people. So I think that was part of why it felt so powerful. And but yeah, I could talk about that wedding experience for like days and days here. We put up videos. If you scroll down my Facebook wall, there's all sorts of videos of the huppah and the wedding. But we don't want to live in the past. That was like my best day ever. I don't know what, a couple weeks ago, and now it's today. We got to deal with today. Um, and yeah, I think part of why God put me through that whole painful process of just years and years without being able to get married was so that I could, like really help people who are single. You ever see these people that used to be a drug addict and then they become like a big drug rehab counselor and they say, I know what it's like. I was a drug addict and now I know how to help you. I feel like that with like being single, with especially with religious people trying to get married. Like I know what it's like to just have nothing work, It's the wretch of heel. So my wife, Miriam, she's a big matchmaker and we're now doing matchmaking together. Moshe, translate it for the uninitiated here. My Hebrew's not good. If you can. So we're now doing matchmaking, and we're trying to get back to Israel as soon as possible, so that it's also a parnasa. It's a service and a parnasa, and she comes equipped with a wonderful gaggle of kids. She's got 6 from her previous marriage, and they're really good kids. And we're working on bringing four of them with us right away to Israel and get them in schools and all that. So it's quite a process here. And so part of our parnasa to get there, we're doing matchmaking. So singles of the world, use us. Use us. We want to help. And she's very savvy. Women really listen to her. They like perk up and listen to her when she talks. She's very good Rebbitzin. So yeah, with our health, as everyone knows, I work in health, and with our health, our main relationship in our life, or our main lack of a relationship in our life, you could make a case that it's the main part of our health. like I've said often in these videos, one of my teachers in health, he says he's observed couples very, very, very closely clinically for 30, 40 years of clinical practice. He's a very deep healer, and he said to me, there's not a single case, not a single couple he observed where the where the where the wife wasn't slowly killing the husband, like unconsciously, right? I know I'm not supposed to say stuff like that, but he's just a very straightforward guy. This was just his clinical observation, And I've often, as I've often said, what kept me getting married for so long is I felt that in my dating girls. I felt like they were slowly going to kill me, and I didn't want that. And Miriam's super committed to health, and we're like committed to being the healthiest we can and helping everyone else be the healthiest they can. And that's cool. Good things come to those who wait, thank God. Moshe Newman writes, he swallowed the evil force, soldier, and vomited it out from his belly. He inherits God. Yeah, maybe explain it more if you want. Oh, you're going into Shabbos. Good Shabbos, Moshe Newman. Moshe Newman is a great healer in Jerusalem that we all know and love. So, yeah, it's a problem with these comments. I lose my train of thought. I'll try not to do that. If people have specific questions about exactly what I'm talking about right now, or specific comments, just write it, highlight it, because otherwise I lose my train of thought. Oh yeah, back to women killing men. So, the thing about like medicine and health is it doesn't have to do with what we think should be. It has to do with what is. When I say that comment, that my friend is a very deep doctor and he observed that paradigm that there wasn't a single couple he observed where the woman wasn't slowly killing the man. Of course, that's not the way it should be. It's not politically correct, but he didn't care. He's a clinician. He just observed very carefully, You could say he's observing with bias, but if you know the guy, he's such a deep healer. So, anyhow, that's neither here nor there. What is here and there is that um, our relationship in our life, we need to make it the healthiest thing possible. Or if we're single, we have to go towards the healthiest coupling we can if we want the greatest health, because it's you can make a case it's the main part of our life. You could also make a case that the main part of our life is our connection to our who we think is the main spiritual leader on the planet, our direct connection to them. Um, but ideally, it's all one thing. We find who we think is the main teacher on the planet, and we follow them with everything we have, and we marry the person who thinks it's the same person. It's all together. That's the goal. So if you read the story I posted, me and Miriam, we were like stuck in a rut on and off for 3 years. 3 years. We both felt like we never would have gotten out of it without the very bizarre and amazing help of our rabbi, Rob Berlin, who we both came to the conclusion is like the main teacher on the planet, even though most people are against him, especially because most people are against him. If we look at how incredibly messed up the world is, it makes perfect sense that the main teacher in the world has most of the people against him, because if everyone was following him, the world would be fixed. So yeah, I went to it for a lecture the other day in the Boca Raton Shul. I'm shipwrecked out here in Delray Delray Beach, Florida, and please God help me get back to Israel as fast as possible. And I went to a lecture at the shul, the main shul. He's talking about the Ramchal, right? What's that famous book? Mesilas Yesharim is by the Ramchal, right? The Ramchal was from Italy, and he was like super, super, super controversial rabbi in his day. And I think most of the world was against him. So this guy, the Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg was giving this great lecture. I really enjoyed it I think it was about Mesilas Yesharim. But I was thinking to myself, how many of these people here would have been following the Ramchal if he was alive? It's a very straight crowd out there. How many of them would have been like running after the Ramchal? Probably zero, probably 0.0 of them. It's a very straight crowd. Everyone's got their high-end jobs, very together kind of crowd. The Ramchal was, by all modern standards, probably bizarre, probably pretty bizarre in his time. I think he was like channeling a Maggid, a spiritual being, and writing Kabbalah when he was 20 that no one understood, and he got chased from country to country. So basically, it makes sense if who we think is the greatest rabbi alive is controversial, because all the good ones were basically King David, etc. Anyhow, we yeah, that whole wedding experience and the Shever Brachos after it was the most kind of amazing thing that ever happened in my life. And as everyone likes to say, marriage is hard work. Marriage is hard work. It sure is, and that's good. We build ourselves to the best hard work. But my point again is that we have to make our marital relationship the best thing and the most health producing thing in our whole life. Or if we're single, we have to find the most health producing, balanced marriage in our whole life if we want to go towards the ultimate health, and otherwise our marital partner or our lack of marital partner will be the main health problem in our life. You know what I mean? Um, there's no middle ground. And that being said, it only makes sense for us all to find the ultimate coach in the world and follow them, you know? And I'm trying to be an example of that, I found who I thought's the ultimate coach. He turned around this relationship that I thought would never work. She thought would never. I never gave up completely. She said we'd given up completely. I think we have a different memory of the situation. But I for sure thought this can't possibly ever go forward the way it is. She felt the same way too. There's all sorts of funny stories to be told. Um, but basically, thank God I finally got married. So now I'm in the game, and it reminds me of the feeling of making Aliyah. You like living in America, you want to make Aliyah, you'd be like, I got to start the real deal in Israel. You realize Israel's the real deal. You may take all these steps to change everything, let go of anything, get to Israel. And then you get there, and it's just the start of this huge journey. It's not like getting to Israel is the end of the journey. It's just the start. How much the same thing with marriage, like all the single people, we're trying to get married. We finally get married, boom, and that's just the start. But just like Aliyah, it's definitely like this going up a Madrega. The irony is I had to come down a Madrega to Florida to get married. I'm like stuck here now. We're trying to get out. Help us get out. We're accepting new clients. We're accepting loans from people that don't want them paid off right away. We're accepting gifts. We're accepting formal work offers. People that want to register for like a year program so we can really make it over there faster and such. But yeah, so I really feel this thing, like getting married. It's this. I used to follow Rob Itchy Mayor Morgenstern. Everyone needs to know about him. He's arguably one of the greatest students of Berlin. Rob Itchy Mayor Morgenstern. I knew stuff got serious when I used to follow Rob Morgenstern. I was very kind of skeptical about Rob Berlin. I was at a great distance. So I used to follow Rob Morgenstern for years, and then my Haruta said, "Oh, Rob Morgenstern asks Rob Berland all his main questions in the Zohar." If you study the Zohar, it's like the deepest thing, and Rob Morgenstern is just this inconceivably deep rabbi. So when I heard that he asked all his questions in the Zohar to Rob Berland, I thought, "Oh my God, I don't think I'm going to be able to ignore this Rob Berland thing too much longer." You have to get inside the inside of Jerusalem to get what's going on. People try to read articles about these guys from America. No way. You're never gonna have a clue. You got to go over there, hang out with them, fabrang with them, study with them, ask them questions, even get what's going on. Enough of this armchair Judaism. It's not like that. We all have to chase after who we think is the head rabbi. A lot of people hold Rob Morgenstern as the head rabbi on earth, and he's definitely, you can make a case for it. He's so good beyond imagination. Okay, so like I was saying, my 10 trains of thought here. Yeah, when I got married, I felt like I went up a notch into like this new territory. You're suddenly, especially because I married a woman with a lot of kids, so suddenly like I'm in this, family life with schools, all this kind of thing. And but yeah, how much more so can I help people make Aliyah to married life now? I've been married for 2 weeks now or something, so I'm a big I'm a big marriage expert. Just kidding. But when we work with people, right away, the main thing we do is like we say to them, okay, who's your ultimate rabbi? What do they say? When can we talk to them? It's not like we're trying to take it on all on our shoulders because we're newly married, you know. How much experts can we be after being married for 2 weeks, right? Um, and yeah, I had this friend, very special guy in Jerusalem. So I was sitting with him at a Shabbat table. I think he had had like a bad marriage, and then he got remarried. And he had some old friend with him. And his old friend at the Shabbat table said, "Okay, don't screw this one up, this marriage, you know." So now, you know, I got a fresh start, and like I said, I really felt that fresh soul start when when I got married here. I've never been married. When I got married, felt this fresh start, and so now I have a chance to like not screw it up, you know, to make it good. Oh, I know what I was going to talk about tonight. So, oh, Michael Levy, how are you? Mazel tov. Um, yeah, stuck here out in Delray Beach, Florida, which is one of the more one of the one of the more boring places I've ever been. And you know, new family for me, stepfather, new wife, trying to make Aliyah all at once, a lot going on. And so I finally got up in the middle of the night tonight. It's the best habit in the world. You go to bed early, you get up in the middle of the night, you go outside, you do breathing exercise, you talk to God. This is like breast love. Unstick yourself. Thank you, Michael. Um, so I finally got up tonight, and right away when I moved into my wife's apartment here. It's in some condo thing. It's like, you know, suburbville, everything with their like fences and locks and manicured lawns. Everyone's got their SUV kind of thing. I was like, oh God, get me out of here. Get me out of here. So like a good breast lover, the first thing I did was look for like where's the nearest field, you know, and it's always close by, you know. The solution is always close to the problem. There's a whole field of herbalism where they say herbal medicine, they say the herbs you need the most are usually growing in your backyard, you know? Just like God puts the cure with the problem. If it can be broken, it can be fixed. So right, so when I looked around, I saw like what a suburban thing I got myself stuck in. I said, okay, you know, where's the field? So then, not so far away. You know, you have like the tennis court, the basketball court, all these condos with their like little, you know, they're like little manicured building and everything where everything's all perfect. Like I went in there right away. I'm like totally uncomfortable. You can't open any of the windows in the gym, you know, it's all like air conditioning. Jamie, what's up? So right away I was like, oh God, like a caged animal. And so then right past all the manicured lawns, you know, there's like a big field, goes to some kind of woods and stream kind of thing that probably has alligators. There's alligators. When I go out there at night, I'm always a little bit worried some alligators gonna like come out of the woods. Um, so Michael, how about trying to interact with the class material here? I appreciate you like saying the quotes, but how about, you know, trying to like interact a bit in a more uh direct way, if you like. So so I found the field out here, thank God. And then it's funny how you get like just kind of like pulled down in the suburbs, you know. It's everything works in orbits, you know. Everyone's like getting up, going to work, taking out the trash, taking their kids to school. It's like these orbits, right? And no, and hardly anyone's like orbiting out to the field to do a SPOTUS. So like I'm like, before I know it, I'm like in the suburban orbit, you know. So I had to like really tonight. I was like I gotta get out to the field finally, you know. So I finally like broke. I got up. I'm like, you know, so you stand up and it's like a 5 minute walk to the field, but somehow it seems like this. Somehow it seems like this impossible thing to get out there and do a SPOTUS, to get out to the field. But it's just a trick of the mind. So I got out there in just the middle of the night, you know, 3 in the morning, and the the middle of the night, just the Rabbi Nachman hit it right. My friend once said, if you're a salesman, you got to believe in your product and you got to promote it to the ends of the world. So Rabbi Nachman, like his main branding, his main branding product was like Hisbodedus. You could make a case that was his main sale that he was selling to us, was to do Hisbodedus out in nature alone in the middle of the night. And if we're going to pick one thing to nail home, that could be the thing. Someone was asking me about sleep production, and I said, one of the secrets that we all know and none of us do is going to bed super, 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 super early. Some people go to bed at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and to get up in the middle of the night. And the hours of sleep before midnight, they're more enriching. And if we really get in a good groove with our nutrition and our relationships and our work and everything, we can sleep a little bit in the middle of the night, get up, and then if we get up, meditate in nature, and then if we have to, sleep a little bit at the end of the night and then get up for our day, And some people can even, I had one rabbi who would just sleep every night, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., whatever, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. He'd get up, boom, like a rocket, and he'd just learn all night. He'd go through the Bavli and the Yerushalmi Shas, the entire thing every year, both Shas every year, like a machine, And he got himself on, and he told me when he realized I was into this kind of thing, he said, "Listen, I'm going to train you how to do this." And he kind of military style ordered me to go to bed every night as early as possible. Get up, hey AB, I got married. Mazel tov. This going to bed in the early and getting up in the middle of the night is such a secret, and we got to break ourselves out of society to do it, because everything in society is like, no, go to the PTA meeting at night, go to the concert at night, go to the shidduch at night, go to the business meeting at night. Everything's like, just stay up, tool around the internet for 5 hours at night doing nothing. So tonight I went out there to the field and just did these breathing exercises, talked to God a little bit. Nothing so spectacular. Nothing so spectacular, but just puts you back in yourself, It's this feeling that you can get out of society and think, and then when you come back to society, you have your brain, you don't get swept up in things, right? One of the breathing exercise tricks I've been getting into is you put your chin down, right? This is in every system. Kind of like if you look from the side, it's like this, You put your chin down and you raise the top of the back of your head. You keep lifting it, so your vertebrae are spreading out. Your chin's down, your shoulders are back. See that? It's this powerful kind of posture like this. Meditation's supposed to be inward, right? So if your chin's jutting out, you're looking in everyone's business, looking at everything on the internet, get scattered out. The chin's in, the back of the head's lifting, you're inward focused, shoulders back and down. Powerful breathing. And whenever I start up the schedule of getting up in the middle of the night, for a while I'm so disoriented. You get up in the middle of the night, you're like, oh, I can't even concentrate. You're spun out. But after a week or so, I'll sort of start to get into it. You start to feel like normal. It's a very rootsy schedule. Farmers get up in the, before the sun rises. Makes you feel very on top of the game. Okay, so those are a few thoughts. And anyone have any questions before I go? Ideas, questions? In terms of the big sale here, any new Mazel Tov? Yeah, I'm stoked too, AB. Mazel Tov, big Mazel Tov. Miracle. In terms of the big sale here, any new customers are welcome for a free 10, 15-minute Skype or Zoom consultation, or phone if you don't have Skype or Zoom, or text if you don't have whatever, just to see if you want to work together. And yeah, I got to get down to business here now, getting all these kids to Israel, getting set up in schools. It's a lot. So if you ever thought of working with me before, now's the time to kick in. And yeah, that is the basic thing. And thanks for joining me. And if you scroll down my wall, you'll see all sorts of fun things from the wedding. It was a whole thing, a long overdue, wonderful journey. And please introduce yourself to my wife too. We're working really closely now. Share a lot of friends and people we coach. All right. All right. Peace. Cheers, Joel. Nice to talk to you. Cheers. Cheers, mate.